3G Boss in partnership with Canary Wharf Group. In association with Simple Call, sponsored by Feast Restaurant, NCL Tours, London Churchill College and Shard Restaurant, Brick Lane. Charity partner, ICRA International.
Last week, the 3G Boss contestants saw final team performances, conducting market research
that you can take through this course. Route number 1.
Preparing presentations based on market research, presentations in front of audiences, and signing up for selected HND courses. Contestants faced the most unusual task of the series.
A HND is highly regarded nationally.
While they were not sure on how to progress the task, some ensured that their personal performances were not affected.
However, the judge did say that it's very crucial that the team, sometimes one person just needs motivation or like just being tough.
Struggling to select the team manager, Abdullah found himself the only one to be the team manager for Team Inspire.
That's up to him, really.
I wouldn't be able to give you that leadership.
Yeah? Okay, cool.
Do you want to be leader?
Get this out of the way.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
The same.
On the other side, Tushar was keen to show his leadership skills and convinced other team members with a little challenge.
A good team leader because I'm very optimistic about what we're going to be doing.
I think I'd like to give Tushar a chance for...
Okay.
The experience of market research varied. Trying to persuade customers to get on board proved to be challenging for some.
Education. If education aber education is that what you want?
In the presentations, while some team performances went smoothly, others struggled.
Commitment of 2.5 days a week, and
In the boardroom, Howard Dorber and the judges analysed every aspect of the task.
So out of 7, today we're going to go down to 5.
The sign-ups, so how many sign-ups?
However, as both teams failed to sign up any students, Howard Dorber had an alternative choice to eliminate contestants and chose the best 5 contestants to go through to the semi-finals. Even after being the team manager for the winning team, Abdullah could not secure his place for the semi-finals.
But this is the end of the road for you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Hussein.
Thank you very much for your...
For the other team, team manager Tushar also faced the same fate.
This is the end of the road for you. You're fired. We want you to pitch for investment.
This week, in the semi-finals,
Which will include experts from Canary Wharf Group and from the University of East London, as well as me and my fellow judges. We want a business plan for a business. It can be anything you like, but it must be a realistic business plan.
the 5 top contestants will battle to secure their place for the finals. Only 2 can go through to the finals. Each of them will develop their own business proposal, where they will be required to demonstrate their business strategy, conduct research, present their financial statement, and finally, convince the judges with their proposal. Once again, the contestants gather at Zamir Telecom's state-of-the-art offices for their preparation. They don't need a team name or team manager, but they will have to show their entrepreneurial ability to be promoted to the finals.
We're in the semi-final. There's only 5 left, but they're on their own this time. There's no teams. They've got to make a business plan and brush up on their CVs. Many of them have never written one before in their life, but they're getting trained on how to do it now. So let's go in and see how they're getting on.
Okay. Now, the report. No business.
2 successful entrepreneurs, Mr. Nafal Zamir and Mr. Nazim Udin, conducted sessions to guide and motivate the contestants' business visions.
So first, what is it your business about? What you're trying to sell, service, product, and so on and so forth. Why you think it is going to be successful, and then slowly and eventually you go to the numbers at the end.
What is the population size in this area? What is average income for that area? What is the age structure for these areas? You can get all those things that you have.
So for the sandwich company, it would be things like a cooker or a
very nice
microwave.
Okay, any asset. I'll tell you one example. Yeah.
It's another pleasant day in London, and for the majority of the contestants, this is going to be their final task. Another 3 industry experts were also invited to assess and review the business proposals. The contestants will be required to convince the guest judges with their presentations and interviews. At first, Rad,
Nice to meet you. First of all,
winning 6 tasks out of 7, Rad has already proven himself to be one of the strongest candidates.
First priority would be to make more money.
His various activities and media presence since his childhood was his extra strength throughout the contest.
Now comes on 3D Boss. That's another adventure for him. Very keen to go for 3D Boss, especially on Wednesday or Saturday. Like, I don't need to wake him up.
But he was also criticised for his leadership strategy.
Rad, he's always been egotastic when it comes to power because he always likes to take control.
Being the most successful team manager throughout the contest, can he convince the judges and be successful to go through to the finals?
Good morning, Rad. Welcome to the boardroom. Do you have a presentation for us? Or?
I do, yeah.
Okay, if you'd like to go ahead.
Sure. So my business proposal is Bikeport Innovations, which is a business seeking to revolutionise the bicycle accessory market. But before I get to my product, let me talk to you about what my vision is. I want to provide ease and convenience to consumers. I made a short video to explain what the product is. I conducted a high street survey on Thursday, and all respondents agreed that there is a short battery life issue to many of the devices that they used. We're not just mass advertisement. That doesn't work. What will work is advertising on cycle blogs, or perhaps putting up posters on a cycling event. And I believe that brings us to the end of our presentation. I hope you really understand what Bikeport Innovations is, and I'm really behind the product. Even if I don't get any investment, I'll still carry on with it because there is a genuine long-term future for it. And on that note, I'll be happy to take any questions.
I wanted to ask you about your advertising costs, which seem really low, and you did have an idea that you might use blogs or you might use posters.
Word of mouth is going to be a key point of our promotion strategy. In addition to that, we're going to have in the medium to long term paid product reviews on the cycle blogs, as well as product placement. So we will have prominent cyclists using our products, and yes, that will cost, but that is a long-term promotion strategy.
Listening to Rad's presentation and business model, Chartered Accountant Zaki Hussain wanted to explore the concept further.
It appears to me you're going to be a reseller. You are buying different bits and putting them together yourself. You're not actually manufacturing anything, are you?
There's only the strap will need to be manufactured. That will be outsourced to a company who can demonstrate value for money.
How many people you surveyed?
15 people. I didn't know who they were, didn't know what they did.
What makes you think your product actually works? Because you also mentioned, and I'm aware as well, there are many similar products which are actually quite disappointing.
I showed you a model there. It hasn't been tested. But what it has, the prototype that I showed you, that works.
Okay, well, thank you to the judges and well done on your presentation and answering the questions. All the best and stay well. I hope it goes well with your product.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay.
I think my pitch and presentation went okay, handled the questions really well. I think the judges understood what the product was, especially with my product model.
Now, the youngest semi-finalist, Nabila, started her journey by losing.
Yeah, well, that's your word. I'm taking your word for it, but...
Nabila demonstrated her skills and passion for business and activeness as a team member.
Took my class on board and I led everyone.
While she was active in some of the tasks,
That is amazing.
her effectivity and leadership were also questioned on numerous occasions.
You're a team manager. You can't possibly say it's not your fault.
However, Nabila is now in the semi-finals, defeating 7 other contestants.
নাবিলা সম্পর্কে আমি আশাবাদী সে 3D বসে সে ফাইনালিস্ট হবে বাট না হলেও আমি মনে করি না এটা তার হারার কিছু আছে এ থেকে 3D বসে জয়েন করার পর আমি দেখেছি সে অনেক কিছুতে যেমন অ্যাসাইনমেন্ট করা ফ্রেন্ডলি বন্ধুদের সাথে বন্ডিং মিটিং সব কিছুতে সে অনেক progress করছে
Having been experienced what it's like to be obese, I kind of get it because there are a few indisputable facts of life and one of them are everybody loves desserts. It's a psychological inevitability. You have taste buds and certain foods are bound to be pleasurable to you. It doesn't matter whether your dessert is chocolate, cheese or chorizo. The problem of course is most desserts aren't very healthy. They're filled with all the foods that you're told to avoid, so sugar, fat and more sugar. One of the simplest examples I can give you of one of the foods that we offer in our detox shop is our protein ice cream. So it's ice cream that's made out of almond powder, almond butter, almond milk and protein powder. I think our USP is going to allow us to excel in the market that we are trying to get into, which is the food market, because it's a dessert bar with where you can enjoy food at a healthy price. I don't think there are any other businesses that can offer that USP to you. The location that we've chosen is Stratford. The shop I'm planning to hire out is only a mere 0.6 miles from the station, and research has shown that the average footfall in Stratford per year is 59.3 million. I've estimated to make a net profit of nearly 400,000 by year 3. First year, our net profit is calculated to be 112,000.
Listening to the appealing aspects of Nabila's desserts, employability and career expert Femi Bola wanted to know further about the business progression.
Where and how you were going to produce these cakes?
Within the rent that we're paying is going to have kitchen equipment, etc., included into the value. So I'm going to, obviously the recipes were engineered by myself and my brother, basically, because we are who came up with this idea.
However, Zaki Hussein's focus was on the figures.
In your business plan, you're intending to work yourself. Do you have a chef?
Definitely.
You recruit a chef?
No, I'm going to be
family members, perhaps?
Sorry?
Yourself, family members will help you?
Yeah.
Is that how? Okay. The reason why I actually raised this is because your stuff cost seems very low.
Yeah.
And I don't just about probably cover one person part-time, in fact. Okay.
I know for myself, looking at some, as much as Femi likes chocolates and desserts as I probably do as well, I'm not sure if Femi's going to be paying £8.75 for vanilla and raspberry ice cream if she hasn't actually been very clear that it's a guilt-free dessert.
The average price for desserts is something along the lines of £9, £9.40, £9.50, I've forgotten. So I think taking that into account and taking our competitors into account, I think our prices are quite reasonable.
Thank you, Nabila, well done.
It's probably out there. I think the numbers add up quite well as well. I think I'd be able to make a lot of profit from my business.
You're watching Channel S.
3G Boss in partnership with Canary Wharf Group. In association with Simple Call, sponsored by Feast Restaurant, NCL Tours, London Churchill College and Shard Restaurant, Brick Lane. Charity partner, ICRA International.
You're watching Channel S.
ঝড়ো ঝড়ো বরিশে বাড়ি ধারা ঝড়ো ঝড়ো বরিশে বাড়ি ধারা হাই পথবাসী হাই গথিহীন হাই গৃহহারা ঝড়ো ঝড়ো বরিশে বাড়ি ধারা।
সাদিয়ার যে 3G বস প্রোগ্রাম সেটাতে কন্টিনিউ করতেছে, বিভিন্ন সময় আমাদেরকে আসে ফিডব্যাক বলে আমরা খুব ভালো পাই এবং ওকে বলি যে হ্যাঁ মা তুমি চালিয়ে যাও, তো নিশ্চয়ই তোমার পরিশ্রম এবং মেধার যে কষ্ট করে যাচ্ছ সেটা নিশ্চয়ই জাজেরা তোমাকে রিয়েল জাজ করবে।
Always ambitious, Sadia struggled to win the contests from the beginning. But that didn't stop her from trying,
The next bottle got the
trying, and trying.
You two are going to get that winning.
Already a very popular face within the British Bangladeshi audience, Sadia has always shown her passion for her heritage.
Without Channel S, I wouldn't have had that platform to express my talents and to embrace my culture.
In my childhood, I found it very uncomfortable to laugh or to show my teeth, and I shouldn't have to feel that way. That's why my dentist had enhanced my best asset, my smile. That's why I have created an application platform which connects me to my dentist and me. So, my business idea is designed to improve communication between patients and dentists in the most interactive system. The application provides information and diagram to educate patients about health and oral care, to prevent future dental problems occurring within them. The patients will be able to have a personal profile which they will receive once the dental practice has purchased the software. Furthermore, what makes my application unique to all the other brands out there is the fact that there's nothing existing as such. It allows a personal connection between the patient and the dentist. For example, if after the patient has gone to the appointment to see their dentist, the dentist will be then able to provide and update the patient's profile by mentioning what problem it is they have, the problem in question. So this is the financial overview. The starting amount for my application will be £2,050. This consists of £6,000 to be spent in the app development and creation of the app, £3,000 to be spent on the creation of the web page, and £3,000 will be dedicated to advertisement for the application, and £50 per month for the maintenance costs. Each dental practice will pay £20 per month, and we estimate that the initial minimum amount of practices that we will receive in the first month will roughly be 40 dental practices based on very positive market research, which I will go on to explain further throughout the slide.
And will the dentist charge for answering questions, or how have you considered that? How they will commercially, how viable this will be?
The reason why I have chosen my price is £20 per month, because that once the practice has bought the software for their own practices, they are then able to choose whether they would like to charge their patients. However, I have intended to keep it free for their patients because it should be a free, beneficial software available to all of across Britain.
Yeah.
I wondered how you felt you were going to engage in the practice, although purchasing the app is very cheap. Managing the app from the practice point of view could be expensive. I just wondered whether you'd explored that.
For example, if you invest in my idea, I'll be able to have better links to more advanced maintenance companies, for example. The charge for the maintenance was £50 every month, and based on that, I will be able to. It will enable me to reach out to more advanced, more professional maintenance companies. Therefore, I'd probably get a higher. It could vary in price. However, on the level of the research that I had done, I'd received £50. It could still be adjusted because out of the £50 investment, I'm only the starting fund is only £12,060. So that could still be adjusted.
It's in the shops right there. So if you want to go across, you can get a whole cup there. We're fundraising for a charity in Bangladesh. 250 minutes people.
Ajmain was always recognised for being a consistent performer in all the tasks.
Looks to have the same skill set in terms of organisation. At 7-8, we target more or less people within the 80-40 range. If it works well.
His involvement in media and extracurricular activities helped him to become one of the strongest candidates of the series.
And the station de votre hotel at Disneyland.
My parents ran a training centre in Canary Wharf.
Like I said before, we're all very proud, and I would like people to feel the same about me, so I would really like to follow in his footsteps.
However, he was also criticised for his various approaches.
From my point of view, I think he brought in two very strong people, and it just feels a bit like it's quite strategic of you to do that.
Can he set out the right strategy today?
The stock markets. An enormous $48.5 trillion worth of stock volume is traded each day on the world's top 3 stock exchanges of New York, Tokyo, and London. I want to start this business to make this market available to those in the middle income bracket who would be willing to invest anything between £1,000 to £10,000 plus. Initially, these will be presented to them as packages. There will be a bronze package, there will be a silver package, and there will be a gold package. Bronze will be a low risk, low to medium gain prospect. Silver will be a medium risk with medium to high gained prospects, and with gold it will be a higher risk package. However, it has the chance for much higher potentials. I conducted some primary market research of my own, and I asked 40 people within the bracket of the Asian community who have savings but are unsure of the financial markets, and these were the results I got. 84% had savings upwards of £7,000. 92% would be interested in investing in a firm such as mine, which gave them a simple analysis as well as recommendations without the people themselves needing to be involved the whole time.
Considering the risk of Ajmain's business, Zaki Hussain was concerned about the customer's security of investment.
Right. Interesting. You are assuming profit every year on, yeah? But we all know stock market doesn't behave in that manner. Even there's ups and downs. Have you factored in your cash flow forecast
Yeah.
the ups and the downs?
In terms of factoring in the volatility of the stock market, our main plan is to have a commission-based system where it's rather than the stock prices, we would be charging for the transactions themselves. And so in that case, we have a set base amount where we will have the profits that are based on that. However, if people choose to invest greater amounts and we see higher returns, that will of course lead to a higher profit. But likewise, the stock market isn't always profitable. It does lead to losses. And in that sense, we will also have chances to recuperate losses through short selling and selling stocks when they're going down.
After this presentation, for example, where are you in terms of your growth and your development plans, etc., etc.?
In terms of a company, as of now, we have not started. But seeing the positive response, we can see that people are interested in such a prospect. So if I was to secure the investment, then I would be looking to start this company as soon as possible.
It's very good, so well done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I feel like that I've created something that is along the traditional market. However, it's something innovative and something that can be a success in the future if it was to be actually carried out.
Finally, Jawad. Praised by the judges and the contestants as an individual, Jawad took time to adapt to the new chapter of his life in 3G Boss.
You want to give me tips?
Yeah, for spending my time here, trying to convince
you.
Professional business skills.
While some team members felt a lack of contribution from Jawad on some tasks, nothing stopped him to explore further.
To be honest, I'm not happy with like a lot, especially like the team leader, I'm not going to lie.
Can you please be quiet? Come on.
His presence in the team brought comfort for his colleagues.
High starting salary, the chances for quick progression, fast.
But can he convince the guest judges and show his real talent?
It's always the same every day. The morning alarm sounds, and your sleepy-eyed teen rolls over, hits the snooze button, and dozes off to revisit the Sandman. By the time the alarm sounds again, your child is only minutes away from catching the school bus. He gets dressed, brushes his teeth, and bolts out the door, missing from the routine, breakfast. Around 32% of pupils skip breakfast after school, a study finds. And for that, I have decided to come up with a product to help these individuals, these people that need to get to work, they're busy, for them to get their breakfast and still get to work on time. 3 products will go within the next 1.5 years. The first product is essentially a toaster. It's not just like any kind of toaster. It is a toaster. It's automated, and it allows you to choose your own toppings. So the toaster spreads the butter, the jam, the chocolate, whatever you want, onto the toast. Now the cost, you may be interested in the cost. Well, I have done some research, and altogether the cost of this whole product amounts to £26.72. This is my sales strategy. So before opening the business via website, 2 weeks I will spend advertising my business, so I can get as many people knowing what my items are. So I would spend about £25,000 just on this.
And just remind me again, you said your selling price was going to be for your basic toaster was going to be how much?
The £89.
£89 going up to 129.
119, 129.
All right, and the difference between the 3 products again? I mean, you mentioned it. Just if you could just remind me, the 89 one.
The £89 is just the toaster in itself, without the app, without the app. But because we introduced another app to it, we have to increase the price by £20. It's not actually £20 of the cost, but to make more profit, I've decided to increase it by £30, which is why it's 119. Sorry. Product number 3, because it's a coffee machine, again, I can't keep it the same price as product number 1 because they're 2 different. It's an addition, so I decided £129.
Looking at the design of the toaster, Femi wanted to know more about the product.
From your diagram,
yes.
I can't work out how much counter surface it will take in a kitchen.
Yeah. There are going to be dimensions on the website, so it's you're looking towards roughly this size and this height. So it's not going to be too big because, of course, when you take into consideration, people won't want to buy a big toaster. So
Interesting design, I have to say. Concept, again, it's interesting. I think a lot of people can benefit. But my first reaction when I look at your diagram is, yes, will it fit in my kitchen? But I think we'd addressed that already. Now, again, looking at this, your product is designed to save time.
Yes.
But perhaps it will save time in the morning, but then what about cleaning it later on?
The only thing that needs cleaning there is the plastic sheet, the plastic spreader. That's the only thing. Apart from that, nothing else needs cleaning, because if you think about it, there's no butter or anything else going into or spreading onto the conveyor belts or anything like that. This product's never been created before, ever, and I think this product is going to be successful.
The guest judges have completed their session. The decision now lies in Howard Dorber's hands, who needs to choose 2 finalists for the next episode. 3 contestants must leave the contest tonight.
You're watching Channel S.
3G Boss in partnership with Canary Wharf Group. In association with Simple Call, sponsored by Feast Restaurant, NCL Tours, London Churchill College, and Shard Restaurant, Brick Lane. Charity partner, ICRA International.
You're watching Channel S.
Okay, so welcome back to the boardroom and the semi-final of 3G Boss. You watched them today, how was it?
Very, very good. It's actually, it's going to be difficult to actually make a choice.
Yeah, they're all so good.
Yeah.
Presented really well. 5 potential winners.
Okay, well, we only have 2. 2 can go forward from today, so 3 of them are going to have to go home. Let's hear what our guest judges had to say. Please bring in the guest judges. So, Femi and Zaki, thank you very much indeed for being our guest judges today and watching the presentations. How did you find it? We had five quite talented young people. What did you think?
I thought the young people were amazing. I couldn't believe their age, and I think that they should be incredibly proud of themselves. They represented themselves very, very well and their community really well.
Yes, I thought they're very impressive, and taking into consideration their age and the time they had to prepare the business proposal plan. Excellent, I have to say. Very impressed.
Okay, well look, I think we'll take them in turn. I'd just like to get your feedback on each one of them. Let's start with Mr. Toast. The toast concept from that was from Jawad, wasn't it?
Yes.
Jawad's magic toaster.
Yes, his delivery wasn't as polished as some of the others, I think, to start with. However, we found him to be very, very creative in his thinking.
Femi, what did you think?
I thought, I suppose I was thinking of my kitchen and the size of the actual appliance, so I was a bit disappointed that he couldn't tell me the actual size. I thought, will that fit along my bread maker and other things that I have on my surfaces? Also I felt his introduction was overly long and a bit repetitive. But on the other hand, I felt his creativity and his enthusiasm in terms of the task was really good.
What about Nabila?
I really felt that her passion and in terms of she thought about the position that she had been in and a solution to that. Obviously there was some issues around her numbers and the business plan, but I thought for somebody of 14 she came across incredibly well, speaking without PowerPoint and not referring to notes that much.
Her numbers were, as you mentioned, all over the place. In fact, the business plan, the numbers didn't flow through properly, so perhaps she didn't have time to check
So Femi and Zaki, what were your thoughts on Sadia? She was doing the Dentist and Me presentation.
Yeah, product-wise, I felt it was quite innovative, and she has thought it through. It is something which is quite doable in my personal opinion.
It is a doable idea, absolutely. And one of the issues I think people do have, booking appointments, using a computer or your phone is quite difficult. An app I think would be really helpful for that. People on the go who want to engage with their dentist, want to see when their spot's available, I think this could be really, really helpful. And also she said, talking about the frequently asked questions, she could give kind of flat information around those issues that do worry people, that get them going to their dentist. At least they could be a bit more informed perhaps before they book their appointment. So I thought it was excellent.
I think with Raj, he used audio-visual aids very extensively. His presentation was very sleek. But what did you think about his business plan, the product that he wanted to sell?
I thought it was a good idea. However, I thought that he needed to maybe do a little bit more research. His customer survey was based on very, very low numbers.
I felt as though his product wasn't anything original. He was just putting together various accessories and reselling. That was my view on the product.
What about Asmaeen, the Wolf of Wall Street?
Yes.
He wants to have a room full of traders.
Everyone knows stock market is a high-risk venture, but his presentation assumes profit year on year.
Well, but he was making money out of the poor sops who were investing in the stock market, not out of the stock market itself, which is what I thought was quite clever about it.
Yes, but I guess it just didn't, what should we say, not something that I would personally invest in.
There could be a potential market there for SMEs, people who've got some money and they're not quite sure, they feel that they're not getting enough interest from the bank. They may want to take that risk, but I think he'd have to do quite a good selling job to get people to invest.
Thank you so much for all your time and input today. We're going to take your scores and Andre Mostert's scores as well, and put them together, and we'll work out who the winners have been from today. Thanks for having us, and Femi particularly, thank you for University of East London for having us, not just coming to today, but also for hosting us throughout this competition. So thank you very much indeed.
It's been a pleasure.
Look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.
All 5 are worthy of being in the semi-final. All 5 are worthy of going through.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be some tough decisions today, because out of 5, we only picked 2. 2 will go forward to the final.
Yep.
So, send in the contestants. Okay, so welcome back to the boardroom. Tough day today. In fact, a tough week. You've all had to do something that normally only a graduate would do, only someone looking to start up a small business. And for your age, to have put together a business plan at all that resembles a real business plan, and some of them really do resemble real business plans. I've seen much worse from actual companies. For someone your age to do that and to present it is pretty impressive. Let's see how you thought today went, and also what my fellow judges, Kuinor and Sanwar, thought as they were watching today. Let's start with Asmaeen. Your product was a bit like the Wolf of Wall Street. You were looking to advise people on which stocks and shares to go into. Tell us what gave you that idea?
Well, my idea was inspired by the Nobel Prize winning Dr. Yunus and his bank, Grameen Bank, which opens up banking and loans to a greater market, and to people who didn't necessarily have the loans or business opportunities that banks often provide. So the fact that he was able to provide this service to the micro market was something that I wanted to do, but I wanted to use my passion in my interest in the finance sector and stocks and shares, and create something where we're advising people within the micro market with people who may not have hundreds of thousands to invest, and still help them further their income and further their savings.
Kuinor, what did you think?
So I was impressed. I do have a question though. You know, many firms, they spend a lot of money on experienced quants who build their models. You know, that covers millions of trades, covering different scenarios every second. How would your traders provide a better, profitable service?
In my opinion, the firms that you are talking about, you have big players. However, they go hunting for the big fish, those who have hundreds of thousands and millions sometimes to invest. I'm trying to target people who may not have that knowledge about the financial sector and know what the financial sector, the benefits that it can provide. And so that's what I wanted to do.
Sanwa.
I think you were doing the reverse of what Professor Yunus did. He's giving money to the dispossessed so that they can start up their own businesses, whereas you're taking money from the small savers in order to invest on their behalf. How can you actually guarantee them a return?
We would create a portfolio with stocks in sectors where they're interested in, and we would ensure that they are given stocks, that we invest in stocks for them, where the returns are maybe low, but still they're in safe stocks, which do not have, you know, maybe high volatility.
Have you just done that in the last week?
Yeah.
Or is this something you've been thinking about for some time?
No, this was my work from Monday to Friday.
Well, you know, I hope you did some of your college work at the same time, because that was an enormous amount of paperwork. Very impressive.
Well done.
Thank you.
Let's move on to Nabila. Tell us a little bit about that. Why this product particularly?
I used to struggle with obesity as a child, and I've overcome it, and I know what kind of things people need to be motivated to overcome their challenges. And I think my restaurant, Detox, offers desserts that are really, really healthy for people to go in and indulge themselves guilt-free without having to worry about jeopardizing their health. And
yeah, Kuinor,
I liked your idea. What I loved about your presentation, it was personal. You know, you really pulled at our heartstrings, you know, so I really liked it. The only critique I would give you is I felt that you said, I think a lot, you know, I think, and you kept saying, a lot. And I think that's down to preparation.
Sanwa.
I think the only flaw would be, and I'm not sure whether you agree, is that if you just stick to desserts, then there are other things that people miss out on. Was that the only product that you were thinking, or were you looking to expand into a healthier range?
we were only thinking of doing drinks and desserts because it's something that I think would be, it's more of a kind of, I guess, treat for yourselves, because lunch you can go have anywhere and there are loads of healthy restaurants that you can go to, but a healthy dessert bar is very, very unique, and you won't, it's unlikely that you've come across a healthy dessert bar in a day-to-day business, day-to-day base.
Okay, the one thing I'd say is that your numbers were all over the place. I think you were saying that you needed £16,000 to start up, but that's not going to even pay you the rent on a store, let alone the cost of staff.
That was predicted for the first month, and I did predict a 5% increase every month, as well as the rate of increasing as the years went on. So second year the increase rate would be 6 or 7%, and the third year the increase rate would be
either massively under-optimistic or your business is doomed to fail. Let's turn to Rad. It's an interesting product, but it's in a very, very crowded market.
When this task came along, I definitely wanted to take this forward. I did more research. I went out to the high street to ask people. I talked to someone who works in the industry. They were all very supportive. So I think this product definitely has a long-term future.
Okay, does it have wheels?
Your research, your customer survey, you only surveyed 15 people.
Yeah.
And out of those 15 people, 6 of them were cyclists. It wasn't representative enough for you to make decisions with your, with those findings, to actually make decisions on your product. And I think, you know, one of the things is you were talking about colour schemes. Well, you only spoke to 6.
Out of the 15 I spoke to, 6 had cycled within the last 6 months, and the others had cycled, but not within the last 6 months. With regards to the colours, colour choices, all 15 people were asked to choose at least 2 colours. So it wasn't based on 6, it was based on 15. But it was small. The sample size was pretty small.
But again, you know, sorry to cut you off, Rad. You spoke to 15 people, but there's 15.8 million potential customers. You know?
Yeah, so it's a very large market, which is why it has a long-term future. It is a small sample size. It is. But as I said to the interviewers, before we would launch the product, we would do a bigger pilot survey with 1,000 people.
I think there is room for it. Okay, let's turn to Jawad. Jawad, you had possibly the most interesting product, which is a toaster that spreads the toast.
All those times that my mother I used to always wake up earlier than everyone else and make toast for everyone. And also the day after, sometimes I do skip my breakfast myself. So I thought of a way of getting around these 2 problems, and yeah, the toaster was the first thing that came to mind. And since it's never been done before, I searched up on the internet just to verify that it's never been done before, and the fact that it wasn't meant that I could just make something that's unique, so I took the opportunity.
Okay, cool.
Your product is very, very different. You used obviously a lot of your imagination, creativity, and it's great. What I wasn't so sure about, Jawad, is when you were I found your pitch to be quite long. Your introduction was pretty long, and I felt you were also repeating yourself sometimes. The other critique I'd say is one of the judges asked you about the size of the product, and you weren't able to actually give her the exact measurements. And I think at this stage, when you are presenting your creation, you need to be able to give those answers. But overall, I would say of all the business plans and business presentations, your idea was the most creative. So well done.
Presentations nowadays involve audio-visual, involve something that people want to visually consume as well as hear. Rather like Nabila, you failed to produce any slides, anything that people can actually look at and take the attention away from you. And you didn't use any notes to give you direction, so what you ended up doing was repeating a lot of stuff. Was there a particular reason for both of those lapses?
For the first one, I didn't include a presentation because I specifically didn't want the judges to look abroad and start reading from the presentation. I wanted them to listen to what I have to say. Because at the end of the day, when I'm pitching, because I'm passionate and I want to convince as many people as possible, I just don't want them to look at the presentation and read from the board. For the second question you said, I had one page and he had bullet points. So he literally had like web strategy, market research, all things like this. So while it probably would seem that I didn't have a plan with me, I just had about 2, 3, 4, 5 bullet points just to look at and then talk about.
Right, and last but not least, Sadia. Why dentist?
I did relate it to my own personal experiences because as a child, I did not have the best teeth, I didn't have the best smile either, and it was definitely an insecurity. I didn't feel as though it should have been because you should feel happy in your own smile, and I could not, obviously I appreciate the fact that someone like my dentist changed my perspectives completely. Now I feel very confident. It has completely changed my personality as well.
Samla, what do you think?
Yours is a business-to-business product, so you'll be selling it to dentists who will then offer it to their customers. Obviously, dentists are very busy people. They don't want to get into a WhatsApp situation with their customer, toing and froing back and forth. So the financial side, whether that business is potentially feasible, is up in the air. What do you think? I mean, how many dentists would you need to get on board in order to break even?
That was definitely a point that I had to consider thoroughly. Like I had said in my presentation, by the dentists investing in the product, it will definitely generate a lot more customers because they would be using latest technology, time management would have improved, they would have been able to meet more customers, and therefore the application would have been more profitable. profitable.
Do you know, the thing that most impressed me about your whole concept was it was a business to business. I also think there is something in it that, you know, dentists are busy people. They don't have time to go and set up their own websites and their own social media channels of communication. So to give them something that's ready-made, that's designed specifically for dentists, I think there is a market for that. Okay, well look, all 5 of you have produced interesting, different business plans and pretty impressive presentations. What I will say is this, that our friends from University East London were so impressed with the quality of what they saw that they said that the 3 unsuccessful contestants from today, they'd like to see them and to offer internships, paid internships at University of East London for the summer. So that's pretty impressive. It means that no one's going to go away from 3G Boss at this stage without an internship next summer. Okay, so now we have to come to the judging. Now, we asked our guest judges to score your presentations on content, on delivery, on the idea, and there's been an enormous amount, there's been hours of discussion this afternoon, because in fact all the scores came out pretty close. We're also now going to pick the people who we think have got the best possible chance in the final. So let's start with Asmain. Asmain, your concept today was very interesting. I have no doubt you could probably put together a business out of it. And through the course of the whole of this show, you've been one of the strongest performers, which is why you're here today. But on this occasion, you're not going through to the final. If you wouldn't mind.
Sorry, may I just ask, just on what basis, in terms of the outcome? Because I feel like throughout the process I've put in a strong performance throughout the tasks, and just like for clarification.
Literally, honestly, everybody who's here deserves to go through. You actually got one of the lower, even though it's very, very tight, one of the lower scores from the judges today.
Sure.
Sorry about that, but keep in touch.
Thank you.
So next, let's turn to Sadia. I thought you were very impressive today. I thought you had a very impressive presentation. I thought the dentistry was a good idea.
Thank you very much.
You've had quite a tough time in the competition at points. You've been on the losing side quite a few times. And we have to base it on the scores that the judges gave. And on this occasion, you scored very well. So you're going through to the final.
Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So,
Good luck. Good luck, guys.
if you wouldn't mind leaving the boardroom, we'll see you next week for next week's test. It is very, very close between the 3 here. Let's start with Nabila. Nabila, I think you had a really good product today. I look forward to tasting some of the desserts. But not next week, because unfortunately you were just off. Like I said, it's incredibly close, but you were just off the marks needed to get through to the final. You've been an amazing contestant. You've got a long way to go in your life. I think you really, as we've said, you are going to be a future star. But this is the end of the competition for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Jawad and Rad. two extremely strong competitors. Both of you deserve to go through to the next round. Now, I did take some advice before to see if I could actually put 3 through, but I'm told we're not allowed. We only have to have 2 in the final. Both of you deserve to go through for very different reasons. Rad, you've been probably the most consistent, strong competitor all the way through the competition. And Jawad, you've been a strong competitor too, but I would say you've developed more over the course of the last few weeks as you've gone through the tasks.
Javad, you've been wonderful to work with over the last few weeks. I've spoken about before, even Femi actually said you're like a rough diamond. You know, what you need is a mentor. You need somebody to guide you, and there is no doubt that you will be successful in whatever you do.
Rad, look, you're a very able individual, a very able 15-year-old, and no doubt you will be one of the captains of industry very near future.
I'm going to let you give us a minute each on why we should put you through to the final. Starting with Rad.
Well, I think I've been the single most consistent performer over the last, I think, 7 or 8 weeks. And what the process has done for me has allowed me to show my natural leadership qualities. For every task, I've either been deputy team manager or team manager, but one, and I've won all of them but one. Of course, I'll take on board what Dr. Sanwa said. I do put in a lot of effort. I wouldn't be here if I didn't, but maybe I don't show that. I try to keep myself calm, which is a good thing, but I will definitely, if I have the opportunity, to put in as much effort as I can. If I get the internship with Canary Wharf Group, I know I can contribute a lot, and hopefully, make you look good, Howard.
Oh, there you go. Play to the ego. And smooth as normal. Jawad.
I think I should stay with 3G Boss. Yeah, as Judge Corina said, I was the underdog, but I put myself forward. I kept on, performing better every single week, and I think next week I will perform even more better. So I think that's why you should keep me.
Okay, now we have to make a decision. So, it's between the finished article in Rad and the rough diamond in Jawad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of you through to the final, and the other one I'm going to offer a 2-week work experience at Canary Wharf, because I think you both deserve to have that experience. But not the full internship, which is the prize for this competition. So the person I'm going to give the 2-week work experience to is Rad. There is no doubt whatsoever that you have the capability of being not just an employee of one of these big companies, but a boss of one of these companies, or your own business. But the person I'm putting through, because I think it is the person who's got the most to benefit from staying in the competition, is Jawad.
Congratulations.
So thanks, guys. Rad, I'll see you very soon. And Jawad, we'll see you next week in the final. You can leave the boardroom now.
Congratulations, Jawad.
So it's so hard to choose between 5 brilliant contestants.
I think what you said about Rad also applies to the other candidates, Ajmain and others. They could easily walk in and be somebody much older than they really are.
Yeah. Jawad and Sadia, and we're going to give them a difficult task, which we're going to present to them in a minute. But, there's 2 left. It's going to be the final show. And next week, we are going to choose the winner of 3G Boss. So we have 2 finalists for 3G Boss. Sadia and Jawad. You both deserve to be here. You have fought your way through 8 weeks with 12 very impressive contestants. And you actually got selected from a much larger number of people to get into that 12. So you both deserve to be in the final. Your task for next week is going to be to set up a community project. We want to know how you would engage with young people your age and engage them with the world of business here at Canary Wharf. And the winning project will be funded. So this will be a real project that will actually then go out and work with young people. We will give you an opportunity to meet some community groups that are delivering projects in the community at the moment, and you can bring back up to 5 of the other contestants from the programme to help you. So, congratulations on making it this far. You can be very proud of yourselves. And we'll see you next week in the boardroom.
What a grueling process that was. The semi-final is complete. Sadia and Jawad are the finalists. Next week, they'll battle it out to become this year's 3G Boss. It's very interesting. Join me next week and we'll see who wins. See you later.
G Boss in partnership with Canary Wharf Group. In association with Simple Call, sponsored by Feast Restaurant, NCL Tours, London Churchill College and Shard Restaurant, Brick Lane. Charity partner, ICRA International.